Hi, Marilyn.
Hey Dave. Hi.
Hey, hey. So we're going to do an intro to our podcast series. Oh my God.
We are. This is going to be interesting to introduce what we're doing and why.
Actually, I got a hunch that this one's about who we are, how we met, and that sort of stuff.
Are you having a premonition, Dave?
About what?
You just said you have a hunch. A hunch is slang for premonition in American, I think.
Oh, really? Hunch. Oh God, hunch.
Was that you doing an American accent? Oh God. That was so funny. Oh my
My
God.
accent's American. I thought you knew my accent's all the time American. Didn't you know that?
I'm still waiting for you to do an actual Australian accent since you've lived there for most of your life.
You mean a good day, mate? Like that?
No, something a little bit more evolved than Good Day Mate.
I don't think I can do it. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, I was born in England. Did 20 I did 20 years in England. And then I did my time there. Then I escaped. Escaped like the rest of the people in Australia. They've all escaped from somewhere. I escaped to Australia when I was 20,
Okay.
and I spent 40 years in Australia, and then I escaped to China for 10 years, but now I'm back in Australia.
So, who were you escaping to go back this last time?
Who was I escaping? I've been in Hong Kong for 2 years, and I spent 9 years in China, so
Hmm.
I think it was time to come back. So where were you born?
I was born in a small town, kind of like the middle south of France, called Montauban. Montauban with an American accent.
Montauban. What does that mean? Good mountain.
No, that's not what that means. But you know what? That sounds like a very legitimate question, Dave. I've never looked to see if it means something.
Well, it says is it Monte?
Auban. Montauban.
Oh, Montauban.
Yeah. So yeah, born there, then shipped back to Los Angeles. That's where my parents met. They're both from France. Not from France. Their families both migrated to France
Right.
when they were very little, and kind of a little bit of a similar background, kind of not fully, but a little bit. Like my mom's family was from Egypt and Israel, and and then in Italy, and then on my dad's side from Tunisia, Romania, Russia, Libya, and some other countries, about 20 other countries. Just to break it down.
So does it feel like you're a mixture of cultures or countries or
Yeah,
something?
I do. I do. I feel that a lot. Yeah.
Really, you feel that?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I relate to everyone. I don't, it's very rare that I'll meet someone and not feel like I know them somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling of familiarity with most people, actually.
Wow. So if you meet someone on the street or something, or in a shop or something, you feel a familiarity,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where they're from.
I do. It's very interesting. And I guess that made sense when I did the DNA test. There were just so many countries, and then it just made sense. I said, okay, then now I get it. It's like there's got to be imprints from all those past past lives, all those ancestors. I have a little bit of history in me from their lives, and so I guess they've all been somewhere in the world at some point in time. What about you?
I have the same sort of feeling when I meet people. I just feel very like familiar, connected. It doesn't matter who it is, really. And when I was in China, I was too lazy to learn Chinese, and which I sort of regret now. but when people would be talking to me in Chinese as though thinking that I could speak Chinese,
Yeah.
I would just sort of nod, and I felt I was understanding them. But it's a strange feeling. I think, why do I feel I understand them?
Yeah.
But I'd be nodding, and because they'd think, oh, this guy's understanding me, but I wasn't. But I felt I was.
Because you nod at everything, Dave.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, I mean, you nod at me all the time, which is, just great. I feel like you're always agreeing with me.
Do you know I used? Do you know I used to do that? I used to shake my head.
Sideways?
Yeah, I used to do that. Do you remember?
That's interesting. Because you were like saying no to everything all the time?
Well, even if I was saying yes.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot you used to do that. Well, I forgot. That was a while ago. Wow, you've changed, Dave.
That's really interesting. So we've known each other for just over 10 years. We met in Hong Kong.
Yeah, we met in Hong Kong in October 2015.
And the first time I saw you was on a Skype call. Mm-hmm. You were in Bali, and I was in Hong Kong, and we both followed a research institute who originated in Hong Kong, but then it sort of moved to China, and they studied life, they studied consciousness. But when we first met, I was just, they did a research paper on evolution of life, how it started and things, and I was giving a talk, just reading it out basically over Skype. And you were going nuts. You were so excited to hear this. I felt you were like a woman who was like a little kid, because you were jumping around with excitement. I remember it was really nice, actually, how you were.
Was I physically jumping around? Is that what you mean?
I think you had like fireworks in your butt or something. You were moving around and...
Oh, God. Wow. What a visual.
Yeah, we should get that video out. I don't think we've got it, actually. Do you remember that when you heard that talk?
Yeah. I was excited to hear about, people researching the origins of like the most, primitive elements that make up life, bacteria. I was excited about that. I was ready to start uncovering, what was under this whole reality. So I guess that was just a start to start looking into something that was primordial in a way.
Primordial, yeah.
I guess primordial, but also, physical matter in a physical way. This was before I started looking much more into metaphysics.
Yeah.
So so I was excited about that. And so you had been, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say, when you say primordial, I mean, do you resonate with that feeling of primordial or like ancient things?
Yeah, I guess at the time I did. I was excited about getting to the root of things. I had been in Bali for almost a year at that point. And I had started to look into different things and reading spiritual books and started looking inwards a little bit more. But everything I was encountering was still had a very new age type of language. And I felt it was very vague, and I was getting a little frustrated because it didn't seem to really go deeply into kind of the underlying mechanism of this reality, and I guess I was ready for that. I really wanted to start peeling the layers. And so then, the New Age movement, as amazing as it is, and it definitely helped me, it was a stepping stone for sure. But I got to the point where it was starting to rub me the wrong way. I was getting very irritated with its vagueness. So when I got onto that call, that a girl that I had met in Bali, she connected me to the Institute, and I got on that call and heard the actual tangible research that was being done. I got excited.
Yeah, and later on, we're going to have some episodes talking about life in China with that institute as
Mm-hmm.
well, because it had a big impact on both of us. Can I just ask you? That was very serious, that last comment, wasn't it? Can I just ask you, why were you in Bali? I know why you're in Bali, but why were you in Bali?
Why was I in Bali? Let's see. I mean, if I just want to not go too deeply into it, but to touch upon it just a little bit,
Mm,
I had been in the garment, fashion, clothing industry for about
mm,
since I was 18 years old, right out of high school. I started
mm-hmm,
working for a clothing company, and anyway, I stayed in that industry in many different capacities: sales, product development. I worked on movies and costume design, and had a clothing brand with my sister that we owned and ran together. So I did many different aspects of that industry for, I'd say, yeah, 20 some years. And I really, you know how they have that saying in America or maybe in the Western world, play hard, work hard. You know that one? Work hard, play hard. You haven't heard that, Dave? Come on.
not really. I'm trying to think what we say in England or Australia.
Anyway, it's a saying that basically means, just push yourselves to the end till to the breaking point. Now it just means, you can work really hard, and then you can also play hard, and it's okay. You just keep going. Anyway, I took that literally, so I did that for 20 years. I'm going to jump all the details, which are very colorful, but maybe we'll go to them down the line on our pod.
But now you say it, it sounds like resulted in like a burnout or something.
Yeah, totally. You Well, not only a burnout, but you kind of burn you. Well, first you crash. No, nose first. first, first you have to crash, and then you blow up, and once you've blown up, then you burn. So yeah, that's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Okay, so we'll shortcut, but basically, I went through a lot of different things, a lot of physical pain over the 20 years, a lot of emotional pain, psychological, um, a lot of drinking, smoking, promiscuity, a lot of excess, even with painkillers and with all the physical discomforts I had, I became quite addicted to narcotics to numb the pain, just painkillers that I got from doctors who were very
Mm.
generous with their prescriptions, let's just say. And at one point I burned, I was in the burning stages, but still trying to push and push and push and, stay afloat and keep, uh, my head above water and try to appear that I still had it all together and knew what I was doing and all that. My body gave out. My body completely gave out, and I could barely walk. And I stayed in bed for like a month or two. It's like the life force was literally sucked out of me. It was amazing. I couldn't even walk one block. I remember some days not being able to go barely from my bed to my bathroom, and some days I would want to push myself so hard to go for a walk. Come on, Marilyn, you can beat this. And then I'd go outside, and it would take me maybe 2 hours to walk one block. And I mean, you can imagine I was in my 30s, late 30s, and so I was just devastated. I didn't know what was happening to me. And I was so embarrassed, ashamed. I had to leave the clothing industry. I had to quit my job, and of course I wasn't going out and socializing anymore with my friends. So a lot of my friends at the time just completely disappeared, or would just call once in a blue moon to just say hi. And as soon as I told them about my pain or that I wasn't doing too well or I couldn't go out, okay, we'll catch you later, So it was an interesting process to have to go through, to kind of have to let go of an industry that, or something that defined me for 20 plus years, for my whole adult life. And then also the friendships that I thought I had, that kind of, many of them dissolved when I was not able to keep up appearances anymore. So it was a great experience, actually.
Wow, yeah. Well, when you say that, I'm just thinking, if that was like a cultural thing, play hard, work hard, that I imagine, if for your friends, it would have been hard for them to show up because maybe they were hurting too, or they were playing hard and working hard. I just get that thought, thinking if that's the culture. God, it's wow. So yeah, so I feel when you say this, if I can share something about me, I feel like an intersection with you, like like a meeting of, it's almost like a meeting of suffering with you in a way, because though my story is different, like I my growing up years was in a very dysfunctional family, whereas a lot of unhappiness and a lot of things where there was abuse and things like that. It wasn't so much directly at me, but it was around me. And I think what happened to me is, as a young man, I, I actually used to see as a kid, I was maybe a 12-year-old or something, that show, what was it called? Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, I remember that one.
They used to show that in England. And it's just that idea. I wanted to make a dream family, you know? I wanted to be the opposite maybe to my father or something like that, and make a life that he wasn't able to make. Maybe I had a lot of judgments on him back then, and so I think you're talking about play hard, work hard. With me, it was work hard, but make this fantasy family or thing, which really I could never be me, because I was trying to be a dream. I was trying to be something that didn't exist, and the cracks came, I think, because I couldn't communicate hardly at all with my wife. I didn't really know how to. I was so driven about, and I was very aggressive at work and things, always trying to beat people and climb up the ladder, sort of thing. I was not a very nice person. And also, you mentioned promiscuity. I had affairs, I think, to make me feel, I don't know, it's hard to me to make me feel alive, or to get away. It was like a drug, maybe, to get away from facing things. I wasn't able to face things. I didn't know how to face things. I didn't know how to talk it through. I didn't know how to get to know my wife. It's crazy, isn't it? Really. So we could try and work it out and do things together. I just wasn't able to do it. And then, you went to Bali. I had a sort of a classic midlife crisis, like divorce, huge depression. When I divorced, I got I was renting a room in someone else's apartment and just sleeping on a mattress on the floor. When my kids found out, they were so angry with me for not looking after myself. But I was so down about, I felt like a failure. So it's like that was 25 years ago. So it's been it's a reconstruction in a way since then, of seeking, trying to find out what is life, who am I, why do I feel so bad, why can't I get on with people, all these sort of things. And I think it's only in the last year or two where I've really actually accepted who I am, in a way. and started to not judge myself for having emotions, not judging myself for being negative and things like that. So it's been, I guess, it's been a seeking of trying to feel at peace with myself and realizing that I needed to do that. Otherwise, it's very hard to relate in this world or be at peace with other people. Yeah, so for the first time, I think, I mean, we talk so much, you and me, we know each other, we think very well, but when I hear you say this, I feel a great connection with you about what you were trying to hold together, what I was trying to hold together, sort of thing. Yeah, so it's a biggie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very grateful that we met.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I think that we, also the context in which we met was an environment where we were learning about ourselves, about our mindsets, about what we inherited through our lineage. And so it was great because when we first met, you and I, because of our personality traits, we brushed up against each other like we had instigation, to say it mildly.
Mildly, we had like a little war for a few years.
Yeah, we definitely had our little mini war going on for a while, but luckily we were at a place where we could actually work on it. We could find out where it was coming from, and we were given a chance to work on it, like physically work on it through energy work, different therapies that we were doing. We worked together on many projects also, and so while we were working on the projects, things would come up, and then we would have to resolve them to keep working together. So we really needed to resolve the difficulty, but we had tools to resolve, and a lot of support with the whole team. So it's yeah, I'm not sure if that wasn't there to assist us along the way, if we would be talking today. I'm not sure we would still be talking.
No, because I couldn't stand you for a while because I always wanted to be better than you.
Which is weird because, I mean, I don't know what there was to compete with.
Oh, but if you got more attention than me, I couldn't stand it. Like it was very, it was lovely. Yeah. So how we progressed through that. So in fact, it's like before we went to this research institute about life in Hong Kong and China, both of us did lots of courses. I think I did Hoffman. You did.
I only did Hoffman. That's the only course I actually did before going to Picer.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. But you did quite a lot in Bali, I think, and you had attended talks and things in Los
Bali, I
Angeles.
attended a few talks here and there, but nothing substantial like Hoffman. Hoffman, I think, is the only real substantial thing that I did before going to Hong Kong. I might be forgetting. Maybe you could be my memory. Do you remember if I told you about anything?
Well, quite often you say when you see someone on YouTube and you send me the YouTube link to someone, you say that you had seen this woman talk before,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you had
Mm.
or you had been, or you'd gone on some, I don't know whether it's a course or something. You'd followed this person for a while, read the book, these
Yes.
sort of things. I can't remember all the names,
Yeah,
but
they weren't any type of courses, but like for example, Abraham Hicks from the Law of Attraction. I went and heard her talk once, and Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer and Bruce Lipton and all these guys. They all spoke together at some conference, and I went and heard each of them talk and give talks. So I did go to some talks and did hear people and was listening to a lot of YouTube videos, reading some books. So I was already in touch with some information. Yeah. But in terms of like doing any work on myself, really doing something tangible, the only thing I had ever done before going to the institute in Hong Kong where I met you was the Hoffman process, which we both did. Funny enough that we both did that, because it's not a super well known thing.
No, you did it in Los Angeles, did you?
Yeah, I did it up north near Napa Valley on the way to San Francisco. Hmm.
I did it in Melbourne in Australia.
Okay. No, it's an interesting coincidence. Go on. I was just curious how old you were when you did it, because I don't think we ever asked each other.
It would be, midlife crisis, divorce time, so it's probably about the year 2000. Definitely the year 2000, I think.
Okay.
So it's, 26 years ago.
How old are you? Can I give your age away?
Well, I'm 70 now, so I would have been about 45 or something.
You would have been 45. Wow. Okay. Okay.
How old were you?
Cool. Maybe 40, 41, maybe.
41.
41.
Oh, similar age.
Yeah,
wow,
similar
how
age.
similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people could look up the Hoffman process and read about it and whatever.
Yeah, people can look it up, but I think, I mean, you can tell me what it did for you. I'll just briefly say, for me, it's really started to put me in touch with things I was carrying from my ancestors, from my lineage. I had never really said and thought about it before that. For me, it was like, I don't know them, so how could they possibly be affecting me in any way? That's really how I thought at the time. I really thought I have nothing to do with them because I've never met them. I don't know them. And I knew my grandparents on my mom's side. I knew them like more like an acquaintance type of knowing, I'd say, a little bit. I had just started to get to know my grandmother a little bit right before she had an accident and died, and many years ago. And then my grandfather, yeah, also just very proud man, and he had very strong opinions, and yeah, very very black and white about things, and so there wasn't a lot of room for discussion, I guess, and I was at that age where I wasn't too curious. And then on my dad's side, I wasn't very close with my grandparents. And so it's, because I didn't have that connection with them, I guess it just didn't go further back, because they would have been the funnel for me to be more connected to their parents, or, but yeah, Hoffman it really makes you start not only looking at your past lineage and the effect that has on your behavior, how you think, how you see things, your relationships with other people, but there were exercises where they really put you in touch with them, like they have you write letters to them. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do now.
And
Now
really,
you say it, I remember it.
Yeah, like communicating with them, which that was a big eye opener. It was like a gateway.
It really was. Well, it was a gateway. Wow. That's very interesting what you're saying. Yeah. Because in my family, my father never spoke about his grandfather on the male side, but now I've found out with my eldest daughter's help on Ancestry.com that he may have never known his grandfather, because it was like so my name, which is Mathis, my surname, actually comes from my father's grandmother.
Oh, not from the paternal side.
Not from the paternal, because that guy sort of disappeared, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and was probably we think he was a Russian Jewish person living in London. But it took a long time to track it down. So there was like a block there, because my father never spoke much about his family, and there weren't many members. He didn't have any brothers or sisters. So
okay.
Yeah, on my mother's side there was more, but I think in Hoffman, I think what that opened up to me was, I think I'd been in my own little world, right? And then to be with like 25 other people probably at this course, and we were like we were living in a monastery for, I think it was 6 nights or something. It's like I realized that shit, there are a lot of people suffering in this world, and I was shocked at some of their stories. I remember when we had like, I think it was a ritual where we all had a birthday cake or something,
Yeah, I remember that.
and the birthday cake, and I think out of the 25, 5 people, 4 or 5 people said it's the first time in their life they'd had a birthday cake.
Same here with my group.
My God, it was shock. I thought, you never had a birthday cake before?
And they were grown adults. Like there were people who had kids, who had families and everything.
It's like, wow. And it wasn't that it wasn't their culture. It was just like, yeah. I mean, then we heard this. Someone that shared their stories, and wow. So it was a good eye opener about. So I think it was like I got a sense there of the power of like of collective support or something, or doing something together, something like that. And then I did a few courses and things. I actually became a psychotherapist. I was an accountant, so after the midlife crisis, I became a psychotherapist. That was a big change. But I had read a psychology book when I was 16, so I think I had it inside me, but I had to work through something. And and then I was fortunate because when I was a psychotherapist in Australia, I say I was fortunate because you get to see maybe how people suffer, but also what can bring them love or what can connect. So I think I was very fortunate to work with people who were struggling, because I worked more with people who maybe didn't have jobs or had come out of prison, or for a while I worked with, as best we could, but it was difficult, with the Aboriginal people, just a little bit, and that was like that was a privilege to work with such a different culture, but be trusted to work with such a different culture, by being trusted by their culture to work with their culture. So it was like, it's like an honour, I guess.
Was that in Australia?
Yeah, that was in Australia. So yeah, breathing breathing deeply. Yeah, so I think the fortunate thing for us, basically, you and me in a way, is when we went to this institute in Hong Kong and China. It's not like we went on a course. We were there for a long time. Like we were together, you and me, basically most of 5 years there or something, probably. So it gives you a chance to go so deeply into things.
Yeah.
Really.
It was definitely, I was just telling someone this a few days ago, it was a fully immersive experience.
What's a good way of saying it?
Fully immersive
Experience.
because so we were learning from the institute. We were learning everything they had found throughout their research. They had been researching, the relationship between consciousness, matter, energy. Like where does energy come from? What is energy? What does it do? How does it behave? How does it lead to our life? To our body, to who we meet, what we'll end up doing in our lives, what we won't do, what we like, what we dislike, all of that. So it was, first of all, I was learning everything that they had uncovered throughout their research, and then all of the techniques that they devised. They devised products and services, therapies to help people to kind of slow down the momentum. That's we get a very stiff stiff sense of ourselves when we need to survive, and as a human being, that's probably one of the most difficult things to transcend, in a way, is to not be afraid of dying, to just really live every day just in flow and in ease, and just trusting that when it's your time, but to not live every day with that underlying fear. And that's something that learning about, like, what's under the veil of life, what's kind of like under the hood of life, it helps to dissolve that fear. in many ways. At least it did for me, and I think it did for you as well. So, um, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the biggest thing, probably reducing my anxiety.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, that, even having a conversation, like I have to talk. I can't not talk. I can't not exist by putting my point of view across. If I don't talk, I'll become anxious. So it's always that force to be in this world, but it taught me how to relax and really listen to other people and just be happy of how things went. But it took me ages. It took me ages,
Well,
and I think,
feels like ages, but it's not that long.
and I think like the thing they did there, which was very interesting, is you do something or say something, and they'd ask a very simple question: "Why did you do that?" And often, I remember not when I first got asked that, like, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
always do that. I always do that. But why do you always do that? Oh, I got no idea. Okay, well, let's try and work it out. Why do you do that? Because you're doing something that maybe is causing some problem or some disturbance in your life, but you don't know why you're doing it. So maybe if you can work it out, you can get some sort of control over it.
Or understanding.
Or understanding, yeah. Yeah, for me, I found the understanding gave me a chance to evaluate. Oh, why am I doing that? Okay, maybe I could do something else. And if that leads to a problem with that person or that situation, if I could do something else, at least to try,
Yeah,
you
at least
know,
to try.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that, so it loosens you up.
Yeah, I'm kind of really. I mean, like you said, one of your difficulties was anxiety, right? But what was underneath that anxiety, and what it would usually come down to, all forms of anxiety have a very kind of, again, that word primordial, but have kind of a very
Mm.
primordial underlying theme, which is the fear of not existing, the fear of not existing.
Yeah, and the way I manifest that is like if I wasn't achieving something, earning a certain amount of money or having a certain status, for me that was not existing. It was like a death, you know, or if someone didn't look at me or that I wanted them to look at me, it's like a death. So it's like how it's sort of evolved, hasn't it? Like animals was more about survival, and we evolved from animals, but our survival now is how we are in this world, in society, with our family and things like that. And some things that happened to me felt worse than death. You know, maybe when someone doesn't get back to me, or that I really you know want to get back to me, or I really want their attention, or I want their love, but I don't get it, and I wanted it. It's like a death, and that type of thing was led to like a lot of depression and suicidal feelings for about 3 days a week, every week, feeling that way, especially in the mornings. So that that was probably, I'd say, about 50 or 60 years like that, until it went away.
Mm. Well, I don't know if it went away as much as you've changed, uh, kind of. I know this is going to sound new agey in the beginning. Vibrationally, you changed, which means that because you think differently now, you see the world differently, you feel differently about your life and about the world around you. You are literally vibrating differently now.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. Like just I don't have a car now. I use public transport. So just just like missing a train. You know, I think about 20 or 30 years ago, I would have been angry if I'd missed a train. Now it's oh, I missed a train. Oh, let's sit down and just look around. What's here, and just appreciate what's there. I could even appreciate a station now, or just look around at the people around you,
Yeah.
the sky, the clouds. I could never do that before.
Yeah.
So there's all this life to appreciate. But you know, if you've got so much anxiety, as you say about survival, you just focus on yourself. You can't see the world.
You can't see anything.
But you're not really in touch with it. It's so wow. It's like, and I always remember that David, who was the founder and like the main person helping us in this institute, I remember once asking him, you know, what's the main thing maybe he's trying to do with us? And every time he would say different things, I guess. But one of the things he said to me one day is, I want you to get riches.
I want you to get riches?
Riches, yeah.
Okay, what does that mean?
What does that mean? Does it mean money? He said, maybe, but actually just means the riches of life.
Yeah.
There are all these riches, but you can't get to them.
Yeah. Like if you're focused on what you're not getting, what you're afraid of losing.
Yeah.
What you're afraid of losing is a big one, right?
Oh, that was a huge thing with the relationship with me. God, I'd be in a relationship, I'd always be scared of losing. Yeah, and then it led me to do all sorts of not so good things, to lie, you know, to cheat, all sorts of things, really. Afraid of losing. Couldn't be honest, really.
Oh my God, so how many couples in relationships lie to not lose what they think they have? You know, love, attention, affection, security, whatever it is. Just, you know, there's so much that we do just automatically to ensure that we don't lose what we think is good. What we think is
what
good.
we think is good. What we think we've got to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense because we don't have a... I think for me, I never had a feeling of stability, so I was always trying to almost like make a full structure around me to keep me safe. But it was always false, so it always crumbled. It wasn't emotionally or like stable coming from my own personality, from who I was.
Well, it was maybe just a persona that you made up to cope.
Yeah.
To cope and to also ensure that you maintained what you thought you needed.
That's right. I can appreciate it now. When you say it that way, I can appreciate it. It got me here. Thank you. You know, it's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just it's a transition.
Yeah.
It's a transition.
It's part of the process of like getting to know ourselves. You know?
Yeah.
I think also because we grow up without a guidebook on how to be a human. We're just winging it, and most of us, our parents had no idea what they were doing when they had us. They had no guidebook. Their parents had no guidebook. So you have generation upon generation upon generation of parents really just winging it and doing the best that they can while they themselves are growing and learning and evolving as human beings themselves. And here they are, put in this position to be the guide and teacher of these new humans, their children, and it's just like this perpetual cycle of I don't even know how to say it, just ignorance begetting ignorance, and not in a negative way, but when you're ignorant about life, about what you come from, what you're made of, when you're ignorant about that, how could you possibly pass on any wisdom? You just don't know yet. You're still learning. So...
Yeah, and you have to pretend you know, sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to, but we become so attuned with pretending. We become such professional pretenders.
I know. I think it took me a long time just to say things like I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just don't know. I can't help you. Wow. But it's liberating when you can get there.
it is.
Uh, could we ask a question about why are we doing these podcasts?
Good question, Dave. What do you think?
Well, Marilyn, I think because I feel like I made some changes and I have a better relationship with life
Mm.
now. And there's a lot of, how can I put it? There's so much on the internet now and YouTube and so much advice or people talking about all
Yeah.
sorts of things, self-help and I don't know, different types of consciousness, different dimensions, different thinkings, and all this sort of stuff. And like we both felt that we wanted to share what we had put into practice or what we struggle to put into practice now.
Yeah, what we struggle.
So it's a bit like we wanted to talk about our life, like our daily life, like this happened yesterday, or this is happening with us, and just talking it through about what we tried to do, what we're trying to understand, and how we notice life and how we try and understand it. So it's like, in a way, I'm thinking like, why would anyone watch this or listen to it? I think basically because you want to hear a couple of people discussing how to be in life and what they're learning and how they're trying to evolve. It's not saying that we know how to do it, but it's like trying something, learning, and then trying again and keeping going. And I suppose for us, it gives us a chance as well to share our mistakes, our struggles, and things like that. But also, we do have a good time together, Marilyn and I. We laugh a
Yeah,
lot.
we do.
So we're gonna, it's a chance to share some of the ridiculous things that happen in our lives and things like that. That usually have come from us, not other people, I think. So that's what I feel. Yeah, trying to make it like as real and as practical and as honest as we can be.
Yeah, and I guess because you and I, we met in an environment where we were learning how to better ourselves or how to improve ourselves or live a happier life or a life just with less anxiety, just feel more at ease with life, right? Be more in the flow of life. And we've been through so much individually since we met each other, right? We've really been trying to put the things we've been learning into practice and seeing how just so darn difficult it can be. You could have all the knowledge in the world, and then someone says something to you and you just snap back, and you have all this amazing wisdom inside of you, all this I'll take that back. It's not wisdom yet, because if you're snapping back, you haven't gone into the wisdom mode. you're in knowledge mode, basically. But yeah, you can have all this amazing knowledge, and just like it's just one thing that someone says to you, usually a family member, or someone close to you, someone who really just you have that type of relationship with, where they could just hit that button in a second. And you just snap and
Yeah.
And Dave and I, the thing is we've been having these conversations since we've known each other. We'll just have long conversations about what happened and where did we fall flat on our face again, and shit, I should have known better. I should have known better to be more aware, to not get triggered by what this person said. I've known them for so long, and I could have done it a different way. And then we talk about how we could do it differently next time, and what did it bring up for us, the guilt or the shame of not being able to have done it differently, and we've been having these conversations for years. And so we finally said, hey, what if we made these kind of conversations that we have every time we talk? Why don't we just make them public in a way? And whoever wants to listen can listen, and maybe some people will relate. Maybe it'll help to just not feel so alone in what you're doing to try to change, and adjust yourself. And we thought, let's just put it out there. We have nothing to gain, nothing to lose, and honestly, the thing is, Dave and I are funny this way. We just don't. We're not doing this for any gain whatsoever. We just really sincerely just wanted to share. So even whether you like this video or don't, we really don't care. And doesn't mean that we don't hope that you enjoy it. But what it means is that that's not what we're here for. Of course, there are people who do it because they really want to get this information out, or because it helps them to get more sponsors, and then they can make an income off of their podcast and all that. And that's totally understandable and great, and maybe one day we will get to that point. But for now, we just, honestly, this is really just to share, right, Dave? We talked about this so many times, but in a way, do you see it differently?
No, I see it similar. Though I do like it when people
like it.
But just give some feedback,
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah.
but for me, if it's like five people, for instance, who say, or even if one person says they got something out of it, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It is nice. I mean, yeah, definitely.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is that I think the way we are trying to be with each other is we would try and give each other different angles, or be like a mirror to each other, which sometimes can be a bit difficult, because sometimes we can push back a bit even now with each other. So it's like we've been trying this for years, but I suppose I think we feel that one thing about being a friend is that a true friend may try and say things which are even difficult to say to someone. In fact, it's very interesting, because with my girlfriend the other day, I can't remember what it was, but she said something, and I said something quite, it was quite, I don't know what the word is, like a bit stern, you could say. And I thought, wow, I might, because she was in a loop, and I don't often do this, and I'm not fully sure why I did it this time, but I gave her some, like, oh, I think you're still doing this, or something like that. Did you? This sort of thing. And I thought, oh my God, was I too stern? And she started crying. She's teared up. And like, why are you doing that? Because she really appreciated that I did it.
Yes.
She said, wow, not many people would have done that,
Yeah.
Because that was always my problem. One of my problems, I wouldn't say things to people because I didn't want to make
You were afraid.
I was afraid. I didn't want to make a negative,
Yeah. Towards you.
Towards
you didn't want to make them negative towards you.
Towards me. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Thanks for picking that up.
I think a lot of us have that, it's a type of pride of like, I don't want that person coming back at me, so I'm just not going to say anything, or they're going to think I'm not a good person, and I don't want that.
And it's a tricky one, because we can be too much, like saying things, and the person doesn't really want that. So it's like,
yeah,
it's just trying it out, I guess.
And also having the right intention, right? I feel like maybe she took it that way because she can feel your heart. She can feel that your intention is pure. I think that makes a big difference. I think people feel our heart. They really do. Whether they know us or not, they will feel our heart's intention when we communicate with them. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it definitely takes some bravery to step out and say something to someone.
it's a two-way street because she says things to me. She says she's got more guts than me. She just says it. And so now, before it was like, I would have, in the years gone by, I would have said I'm listening, but I'm not really listening. I still want to do my own way. But but now it's like, okay, thanks. Really, I'll think about that really, or try it, or just try. Okay, I'll try that.
Nice.
But it's in progress. Still going with that one, but
Well, yeah. I mean, it is a work in progress, right? It's part of being in a relationship is that you learn about each other.
So I was going to say something super profound, but I've completely forgot it.
That's probably how profound it was. It was so profound, Dave, that it transcended space and time. Which leaves us to the end of this podcast.
So that'll come around next cycle of the universe. That might come around again.
Next
maybe.
Yuga cycle. See you on the next Yuga cycle. Okay. Well, I was thinking. What do you think if we end this one so that it doesn't? Yeah, just so that we can kind of end it here. And I think in the next one, at next episodes, we're going more into the reason why we named the podcast what we named it, and
what do we name it?
NHIT, New Humans in Training. What are we training in, and why are we new?
And what's a human?
You'll find out soon enough. We're silly. Sorry, guys. This is just me and Dave on any given day.
I thought you were an alien. You're an alien. Are you a human?
I can't really divulge that right now, but I could be either an alien disguised as a human or a human disguised as an alien. That is to be continued.
God, this is so amazing. I'm so looking forward.
Thank you to whoever is going to be listening to this. We appreciate it. By the way, when I said, we don't care if you like the episode, I hope that didn't come off aggressively, that we don't care. But it just means that, we don't mind if someone doesn't think that this is, how would I put it?
I don't think we completely don't care, but we don't want to allow that to get in the way of who we are or how we're going to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
If people resonate with it, they might listen in. That's the important thing, I guess.
Yeah, and we would love comments. If anyone has any comments about anything we said, if there's something in there that you experienced as well, or that you just like to share on the page, the YouTube page, we really encourage you to leave some notes, or on the Spotify. We appreciate it, and any topics that you guys would like us to talk about, we would love to know what they are. And if not, we're just going to pick different topics about everyday life situations that we're going through, and hopefully they'll be relatable, right?
Yeah, well, I'm going through summer here in Australia,
and I'm in winter. What does that mean, Dave? You have a tan?
You can't see it? God, I work so hard on this tan and you can't see it?
Oh. Yeah, no, I don't.
God.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate it.
Ta-ta for now.
Toodle pips, as Dave says.
Toodle pip.
Bye. Bye.